Hey, this is the first time I'm using this tripod this way, so this may or may not work. I'm enjoying doing these vlogs outside of my room. So, today is a interesting day. All right, let's go. Take the brake off. Today, I am getting my first mammogram. Pause. Do you know what this feels like? This feels like, I'm gonna show my age. When I was younger, there used to be this thing called, on HBO, called Taxi Cab Confessions, where this taxi cab guy would like record people who came in, like, and it was usually people at night. It was like the nightlife of like New York and all these places. And I remember being so fascinated by that show that I was like, it was something that I wanted to do. So I've had a camera in my life, or desired, that doesn't sound right. I've had a desire to, you know, be on camera, to be a storyteller this way since I was little. And I remember when my stepdad got a video camera, I would interview my friends. They would call me like the Oprah of the group, right? And one of the things we were going to do was called Taxi Cab Confessions, but it was going to be like the band camp Taxi Cab Confessions, because I was in marching band and my mother would pick up all the kids from band camp and like any marching band practices we had. Bless her heart, because we were so rowdy. Oh my God, those dogs are so cute. We were so rowdy, and she would pick up like 4 or 5 kids and take them home, you know? So even on my channel that I talk about like the fact that my mother and I don't have a relationship and that there were a lot of unhealthy things about it, my mother, there were some good, sweet moments. And that was like a really kick-ass thing for her to do, to pick up me and like 4 or 5 of my friends and drive them home. Girl. Anyways, I'm like avoiding the real purpose of today's vlog. I am getting my first mammogram today. And I honestly don't have anxiety about it. Because I have generalized anxiety, I know what anxiety feels like. And when I'm really anxious or worried about something, like I obsess about it a whole bunch, and then my mind goes to the absolute worst case scenario, and then I start getting like worked up. I don't feel that today, and I'm glad about it. Now, when I made the appointment, I was like, because my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer in her late 30s, early 40s. It was really young. My mother's been in remission for quite some time, and she got amazing care, but she had to have a double mastectomy, and it was hard to see her go through chemo and radiation. And for the most part, she kind of concealed that from us. She had some really amazing female friends that came in and took care of her. Thank God for them. Because I didn't really see a lot of the physical attributes of how hard it was on her body. However, I remember when she told us, the night she told us she had cancer, oh my God, it was the scariest thing. It was the scariest thing. Like, I remember it like it was yesterday. The guy I was dating at the time, she brought us all in the room, the guy I was dating, my stepbrother, and told us the situation. I think she said it was like stage 3 or stage 4 cancer. And in my mind, I just heard death. And I remember my stepbrother just kind of like going to his room real quiet like, and I just had to get out of the house because I could not breathe. And my mother looks at my boyfriend and said, "Take care of her." And I'm like, what the I'm like, what do you have to take care of me for? What do you mean? You're not going to be here? My mother and I used to be really, really close. And my boyfriend and I lived with each other during the time, and it was hard. It was hard. I cried a lot. I was really depressed about it. And I have to say that, like, of the loves of my life, like, that was a man that I've endured so much with. I remember there were nights I'd go in the bathroom and I would just cry, and he would come in there and he would hold me while I cried. Man, so, you know, I think today I'm feeling a lot of those memories and things like that, you know, because I know that breast cancer runs in my family. My great aunt passed away from breast cancer pretty young, you know, and what was so sad is that she had, I think we all believe, had she had the treatment that my mother had, she'd still be alive. And that's tough. And this tripod, like the stand thing, like moves a lot, so we might not be able to do this often. Oh, sugar. I'm driving to the office now. Oh, sugar. Sorry. We're going. Take two. And my aunt's cancer, oh man, that was really rough. That was really rough. But powerfully, my aunt knew she was going to die, and it made peace with the fact that she was going to die. I actually talked about this with my therapist the other day. I went to Mississippi in my mid-20s to see my aunt because I knew she had breast cancer, but I don't think I knew how severe it was. And I felt really proud that I was able to like go and take her and my uncle out to dinner and stuff. And for her, that was her saying goodbye to me, and I just didn't know. And she didn't tell me how sick she was. She gave me some really special things during that trip, but that was her way of saying goodbye. I don't know. Part of me is like, why didn't you tell me? Like, I would have said more things or did more things. But I actually wrote her a letter when I got back home, just expressing how grateful I was for the role that she played in my life. I'm trying not to cry. So it was just, you know, like hear people say it wasn't their time, you know, God felt it was her time. It's just, she had grandchildren and was just starting to live and that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I'm thinking about those type of things today. But ultimately, I really do know in my heart that, like, because of the faith that I have, the spiritual walk I've gone through, that I can endure all things through Christ who strengthens me. I do know that whatever, like, and I say this to myself now, it's not praying. I do pray God for protection, provision, but I know that God gives us the strength to endure all things. And so, yeah, I'm a little nervous about this mammogram today. I'm praying for health and a clean report. Ultimately, whatever happens, I know God is going to work it out. Today's scripture on my Bible app was Romans 8:28, that he turns all things together for good, which is, you know, in the hard times of your life, a hard thing to like wrap your mind around. But I believe that. I really do. I believe that. So, yeah, I'm just thinking about those type of things today. And, you know, these type of things remind me that I'm an adult and that I'm getting older, and yeah, so all right, I'll check in with you later. Come here, boo. You wanna come here? Boo bear. Girl, I am like horrible at this vlogging thing. I forgot to like do a video of me like, you know, going in or whatever. But so clearly this is after the mammogram. I went and got my hair done with my girl Shalazar, Newport News. Shout out. So we'll talk to you about the actual mammogram. So I won't lie, as I went there, you know, I was thinking about like my family history of cancer and stuff like that. And the check-in process was super smooth. But when the technician came to get me, I was just like, I'm gonna be really honest with you. Like, I'm kind of just nervous because I have a history. I was like about to tell this woman my whole family history in the hallway. She's like, let's just wait till you get to the back. And then when I got in, I took these pictures of the machine. Hopefully it's not so crying. But this is like the machine. And so I had to get like dressed, and like this part was open, and I thought I was gonna be like nervous for her to see my boobs, but I was like, she probably sees so many boobs. And people always talk about mammograms that they're really painful, so I was worried about it being painful. But you know, they do take your boob and put it on this thing and like press it. She's like, don't hold your breath in. And I'm like, I must have like no stamina or endurance, because I'm like holding my breath for like 10 seconds and I'm like, I'm gonna die. And then they take these pictures, and then so they took some like this and then some like this. And she said it takes a week for the results to come back. I'll get a letter. And then it'll say if I need to come back for additional screening or testing. Hopefully it comes back normal. But you know, I'm not going to stress about it. You know, like I was saying earlier, I believe that, you know, it's in God's hands. All things work together for good, and whatever that paper says when it comes, I'll deal with it. So no, it's important. I'll also be very honest with you that like, I know you're supposed to do like monthly checks. Like, I feel on my boobs, but I probably don't do the monthly checks the way you're supposed to. I really need to get better about that, particularly with my history of breast cancer in my family. So yeah, it was interesting. So now I just like wait, but I'm not gonna like obsess about it. Here's something that I do sometimes that I'm not gonna do in this situation. So people who live with anxiety, like a lot of mental illnesses, run a spectrum, and so it doesn't look the same in everyone. So sometimes my anxiety can manifest itself in obsessive thinking. So sometimes if I'm anxious or worried about something that I can't control, I'll get on this internet search thing, and then I keep looking and looking, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I start looking at all the worst case scenarios, and then I'm getting worked up about something that's not even in the present. And so I'm not going to go on WebMD and all that kind of stuff and go on Google. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. You know, I've learned a lot about my anxiety that way. So no, I'm going to pray about it and give it to God and keep living. Just keep living life. Just keep living. But you know, another thing that's also, I've been thinking about like my family tree and my family history a lot lately. You know, I've shared in this vlog before that I never met my biological father. I mean, I suppose I met him when I was 2, but like I didn't have a relationship with him. It's my understanding, or the story that was told to me, was that he signed over his parental rights to me, and I was adopted by my stepfather when I was like 2 or 3. And never made any attempt to like try to get to know me, like really was like washed his hands of me and my mother. But that's a whole side of my family tree that I'm not familiar with and that I don't know. And so I got on ancestry.com, and I've made a couple of connections, and there is somebody who like is like a 3rd or 4th cousin that says she's going to help me fill out the rest of my tree. And then another woman who helps people with their genealogy and things like that, she told me I could email her, and she would tell me like what it would cost to work with her to help fill out the rest of my tree. So that's something that I do want to do within the next year. I also been thinking about going back home to Mississippi to visit. Just Mississippi is where I was born, and I went there a lot when I was a little girl, not as much in my adulthood. And yeah, it's just I've been thinking about it a lot. It's, you know, I've been scared about traveling in the pandemic, but I see people traveling. Like, I have friends who've been traveling and stuff like that safely. So I'm thinking and gonna start looking at flights and stuff like that. So yeah. So yeah, I like these little mini vlogs, little look into my life, and we'll see how you guys like those. If my name's Lauren Hope of Good Girl Chronicles. I'd love for you to click that subscribe button and follow my journey of rebuilding my life after homelessness. And I talk about love, sex, mental health, and everything in between. And also a big part of my love life. I'm trying to rebuild that. It's non-existent now. It's non-existent. But thank you so much for following this journey that I call life. As we say here at Good Girl Chronicles, I love you. I love God more. See you next time.